Good afternoon with everyone. We are going to begin the IFSO Latin American chapter session. We have a session prepared about social media and digital transformation. This is a special session because this is a topic very important for everybody, and because we have no too much information about which is the responsibility or which is the incidence of problems in using the media programs. We need to know something more about that, and that is the idea of produce and prepare a session with this topic. I'm going to give I'm with in this session. I'm going to present Dr. Paulina Salminen and Dr. Pedro Martinez, who are working with us. And Paulina.
Thank you very much for the invitation to moderate in the Latin American chapter from Finland. So that's, of course, very close. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Luis. And thank you to all guys to be here today at this moment after the lunch. So I hope you don't take a nap. Let's move to Manuel Garcia. Garza, he is from Mexico. He will talking about why are qualified voice important in social media and the website. Please.
Thank you to the committee for the invitation, and especially to Dr. Pedro Martinez for considering me for this talk. We're going to talk about this topic about why are qualified voices important in the social media and on the web. But we have to know first the numbers. So as we can see, there's 4.9 billion people using the internet and 4.6 billion people using the social media. So, and all of them are in a percent of 92%, they're using their mobile iPhones and are using almost 7 hours a day. And as you can see, the main reason for using the internet, it's finding information. And also, this is a new trending to be learning from videos over the internet in ages from 16 to 64 years old. Also, the increments of using of the social media. Can you check the presentation, please? Okay, so this is the increments of the social media users over time from 2012 to 2022. And they're spending more hours in the social media also. And the favorite social media platforms are WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, WeChat, Douyin, and TikTok. And the time spent with social media apps, it's mostly on YouTube, around 23.7 hours monthly, followed by TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And this is a very interesting slide because the types of the social media accounts that are followed, as you can see, most of them are for friends. We can see actors, but there's no healthcare, medical, doctors. There are influencers, other experts. There are fitness experts, gym experts, beauty experts, but no medical. So that's very, very interesting. And what does the medical literature say? I researched for a few papers, and I got through this one. It's a very interesting paper where they analyzed 622 accounts from Twitter and Facebook. They excluded some of them, and they got 415. But and then divided them by groups, and diet, life, general education, medical education, the purpose of the account. But as you can see, the research education, there are very few accounts interesting in this topic. Also, the medical centers are talking more about the procedures, the treatments, the surgeries, but very little on general information, medical information. Also, the healthcare professionals, accounts from the healthcare professionals, they're not talking about about general education, medical education. Again, they're just talking about why you should have surgery, promoting the gastric sleeve, promoting the gastric bypass. So the amount of educational and motivational accounts, it's very low. We have to keep this in mind. We have to raise them and give patients the opportunity to learn more about the procedure, find guidance and motivation. Also, I got through this one, Quality of Popular Trends of Weight Loss Procedures videos on TikTok by Ali. And as you can see, within 6 months of the pandemic onset, the hashtags medicine, doctor yielded 1.4 billion and 6.7 billion views, respectively. Also, the hashtag weight loss has been used nearly 99,000 videos collectively viewed over 58 billion times. And 3,000 approximately of these weight loss tagged videos related to vertical gastric sleeve and gastric bypass. So in this study, they included 150 videos. Mostly were for vertical gastric sleeve, Roux-en-Y, and this new topic, it's the endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty. So they used the Discern question performance analysis. It's based on 15 questions on a continuous rating from 1 to 5. A high Discern score means a high quality and a high reliability video. But the most important thing is that on number 13, the question says, does it describe how the treatment choices affect overall quality of life? And as you can see, the non-physicians are doing better on telling the patients about how they're going to live after the surgery, not the physicians. So there's around 79% of the videos that were created by non-physicians. What this means is that non-physicians are talking more about weight loss, about gastric sleeve, about gastric bypass than the physicians. And the top 50 most popular videos are from non-physicians. And the least popular top 50 videos are from physicians. They have, the non-physicians have low Discern scores, and the physicians have high Discern scores. So the main problem with the web community, it's they consider the last line of treatment, bariatric surgery, the easy way out. There's a bad marketing, the risk, they don't know the risk, the cost, they think it's too high. Terror stories, they generalize because someone got surgery in another place and it went bad. So the anti-obesity movement, this is one thing we're going to start facing a lot. The NAFA, the National Association for Advanced on Fat Acceptance, and health in all sizes and the fatosphere. So this is very important because we have to be very careful on how we do publications and we speak to the community. Also, the anti-surgery movement, like the anti-vaccination, we're going to start seeing this. And the lack of reliable information, the influencers are not helping us. So we had this lady, an influencer had a podcast where interviewed this patient that had surgery not well done and had a lot of complications, and she would start talking about losing the personality after gastric bypass. Only millionaires should get the gastric sleeve. She almost died after doing the bypass. She thought that by being skinny would be successful. So this clearly means that she doesn't know the purpose of the surgery. So we have to be on the web because of this. There's a lot of people talking about the consequences, about the complications of the sleeve. There are people talking about bariatric surgery shots, like the semaglutide used actually for medical treatment. And also we got gym instructors talking about the gastric sleeve, not doing the gastric sleeve, but physicians are not doing anything. And also we got this guy talking about the mental gastric sleeve. Some colleague called to this guy and told him if he could get a mental gastric bypass, and he said no, because she will get malnutrition and he had to take some vitamins. So we have to be on the web because of this. And the main problem with us, some of the bariatric surgeons have issues with social media. They're not well familiar with it. The publicity is not clear. We don't know how to do it. The purpose of the social media. We usually promote ourselves by word or by patients. The before and after, we have to focus more on the part of the improvement of the diseases, not on the aesthetic side. And are we doing the right thing? Is there a guideline? We should do guidelines to be better on the publicity. And also, again, the anti-obesity movement. Again, we have to be very, very careful with this, and the anti-surgery, the surgery movement. And the importance for bariatric surgeons being in social media, it's health information to provide accurate and reliable health info. This combats malinformation and ensures that people have access to trustworthy medical advice, education. Social media allows doctors to share knowledge, expertise, to share insights with broader audience, and patient engagement. We are used to do traditional office visits, but with social media, we can answer questions, provide support, offer general guidance through direct messages or comment on post. So as for the conclusion, you have very few seconds to engage. So be clear of this, create content that is interesting, easy to understand, short, and with high quality image or video. With the recent iPhones or the new phones, you can do this very easily. There's a lot of apps in the stores. Use more video, less images, so that people can trust you a little bit more. And fighting misinformation should focus on these questions. It is clear what sources of information were used. Make sure it is well balanced. Describe the risk of the treatment, not because you may think that talking about the risk will scare away the patients, but you have to talk about the risk. So describe what will happen if the treatment is not done. So knowledge makes power. So the more you know, the better decisions you can make. If you come to Monterrey, I'll invite you to my place. Free of charge, you can come and see and stay with us in the forest of Arteaga. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you very much. We have a little change in the program. I want to call to Dr. Camilo Bosa. He will give us a talk about follow-up application. What can we expect? Camilo?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Sorry, it was just before we were discussing this topic in the ambulatory session, and it was interesting. I want to invite all, we hope all Latin America is going to be in the IFSO Santiago in 2025. We have a big challenge. More than 3,000 people came here. So we have next year Melbourne and the next one in Santiago. What can we expect about follow-up applications? These are my disclosures. However, we've been saying that our patients, our bariatric patients, is a very good patients for new technologies, basically because of age. If I come with a new technology device in social media or mobile applications to the hip replacement program, we are going to face a big problem because those patients are older patients, is a different patient. But we know that mobile health applications have been used in chronic diseases, glycemic control, medication adherence in patients with HIV. And here in this, just to set up this is the way, oh, it works. Did you know that you can point here and you can have a pointer? I didn't know that. It just told me. The information gaps, you know, we are getting old. And in this paper, they show that only with telemedicine, they were able to reduce the number of outpatient visits to the gastroenterologist. In the mean number of hospitals admissions was even lower in the telemedicine group. And that was because the patient was quite better engaged. In this application, they were able to prove that they could lower A1C based on a specific health applications, improving the glycemic control and engaging the patients to make the control. And what happened in bariatric surgery? Here, this is an interesting review where they checked of all the applications around following bariatric patients, and here's a total of 52 applications they found. However, most of these applications were part of hospital systems that had a digital platform to control these patients. So they basically were tools from hospitals to make things happen. However, in this here, 52 of these applications were better done in terms of they have a MAPI in their design, so they have medical health professional involvement in all the structure of the applications. And when we put this silver score, that I had never heard about this, but as you know, this is a score to see that how is information or digital information delivered in any platform in social media or in digital things. And here, you have to be very well described: authorship, attribution, disclosures, currency, and there's a score. And the score in these applications, in bariatric applications, it's been becoming better and better. So in conclusion, they said they found that there was a 33% increase in the previous review, indicating there's a growing recognition of more potential in healthcare. With the pandemic, we realized that now we can do so many things with telemedicine, but not telemedicine, but really acting more aggressively with the patients. The mean silver scores, which assess the quality apps, is also increasing. So we now have, it's not like, oh, I have an app and I call the patient, or I send my lab test through the WhatsApp. Today, in the ambulatory session, we had a discussion because like the main superstar thing was, oh, I'm connecting with my patient with a WhatsApp. I say, hey, what's that? I'm doing that every day, and that's not formal, that's not accountable, that's not, so you have to be very careful that if we start using digital platforms, we have to be very, very precise, and we have to use the same standards as we use in any medical device. And finally here, this is an interesting study where they found that the patients that got in these applications and health follow-up with all the bariatric care, they even had, and this is interesting, they had better outcomes. They had 81% weight loss compared to 74. And all these time points, 12 and 24 months, were better in the patients that had this control. So in conclusion, these health applications, mobile health applications, had the ability to significantly improve weight loss and the results of a bariatric program. In this study, so it was the study of usability, was how these mobile applications were able to use, because you can have a fantastic application, but if nobody uses it, nobody likes it. So this was a very basic concept. Do you eat proteins? How much proteins are you eating? How much protein do you eat every day? Then there's an automatic chat that, are you having your medicine? Do you have your prescriptions? Do you need anything after your surgery? In the morning session, we were discussing more about the immediate post-op. And in this study, they found that satisfaction, efficiency, ease of use, and learnability to our patient population was very good. So it's a very good environment, bariatric population, to use any device in any mobile device applications. This first report, the data indicated that it was very well accepted, satisfaction and efficiency. What kind of patient flow-up? We are working on this in this system where the patient gets in the office, they scan a QR code we are using in the hospital, and when they are waiting in the waiting room, they fill this thing, and by the time the patient gets in the patient, you already have in your phone the basic history. So you can say, okay, this is a patient of BMI 36, has these exams. And when you make your decision on what you're going to have, you can go further and say, okay, I'm going to do a sleeve gastrectomy to this patient. So at the same moment I press the button, I'm indicating a sleeve gastrectomy, the patient has all his lab tests, his prescriptions, and his referrals to the other professionals. So at the same time, when the patient leaves the room, there's someone that starts contacting the patient to deliver the nutrition consultation, and when they come to the hospital to the endoscopy, they have the orders, and then they go straight for an endoscopy. And you can go even further. If the patient went to the surgery, the patient has his prescriptions when he's getting there. We have embedded the telemedicine, so you are seeing your patients or discharging your patients with prescriptions, everything, with the patients there. So I think this is where we can get, and now it's very easy, and you will have everything at the tip of your fingers. There's also many other applications now. Here in Latin America, Amanda is being promoted as a very strong follow-up system. In Brazil, I now heard the experience of this patient-driven data collection system associated with many benefits. So they came to stay. They are increasing. There's an excellent usability, and the interaction and communication with the team will definitely enhance results, and it will make your practice better and make a difference from other groups. The future directions, artificial intelligence. We are starting with a very basic concept. Now patients are taking a picture of their test, and artificial intelligence system is taking the hemoglobin, taking the endoscopy, and putting it in a good way so it can start it and become a strong data. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camilo. Please, Pablo Garcia from Dominican Republic. He will talking about Instagram and Facebook, how to make it more efficient. I'm sorry. I keep Rich Peterson.
All right.
I'm sorry, Pablo. I'm sorry.
Your turn will come.
Rich Peterson from US. He will talking about Twitter and LinkedIn, utility and importance in our professional practice. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity, and he looked like he was ready to give the talk, so I think we might have been able to pull it off. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to present, and thank you for the invitation. So I'm going to talk a bit about Twitter and LinkedIn and how to make that part of our professional practice. These are my disclosures. So I think it's important to start out with the fact that we don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The question is, how well do we do it? And Brian Jacob gave this talk in his 2017 SAGES keynote address, and I thought that was actually a really nice thing. And I like to poke a little bit of fun. If any one of you know Dr. Sean Okatari, a good friend of mine, he wasn't on social media at the time when I was his program co-chair for him. And so, but this was our meeting information that we were posting on Facebook. And I sent him this message and said, you realize you're on Facebook whether you want to be or not. Hope you're doing well. And his response to me was, what? Because he wasn't even on that platform. So the reality is you're already there. We're already being put forward in this way. So you need to jump on that. So social media, and we saw a nice talk earlier kind of covering all of that. The internet's forever, right? So looking at the multiple modalities to engage in social media, Facebook, I'm talking about Twitter / it's X now, formerly Twitter, and LinkedIn, but Instagram and Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, these are all things. I did not realize that WhatsApp was really considered a social media platform. I've been using it with the groups and chatting, but I didn't realize, I guess, that was really social media, but it is. I feel like the importance of X, or Twitter, I'm just going to say Twitter, I think we all know. It's personal, but it's also can be professional, where we have learning and education and marketing. LinkedIn is more on that professional side of things. And I'll be honest with you, I have a LinkedIn account, and I updated it recently, but I don't use it that often. It's not one of the social media platforms that I find as beneficial to me in my professional or personal life. And then, of course, again, I think you'll see that TikTok is just taking off as far as the social media platform. Instagram has taken, and I think they're all different age groups that really hit each one. So if we kind of just look at some general social media statistics, Right here, 9 in 10 internet users are on social media. And what I thought was mind-blowing to me a little bit was that over 10 billion hours, let's see here, was this the cool thing? All right, over 10 billion hours every day are being used across the world on social media. And interestingly enough, 44% of TikTok users will be under 25 in the year 2023. So that is the fastest growing segment. Now, the social media platforms, if you look at it across the world, Facebook still dominates. So Facebook is still the number one. YouTube is number two. This is where I learned that WhatsApp was a social media platform. And I'll tell you, the talk I'm giving, and it's Twitter, is really down here. LinkedIn doesn't even make this top list of social media platforms being used. But if we talk about Twitter, and for the healthcare professional, how is it beneficial? Well, I think it's less of a clinical tool, but it is a way to communicate clinical evidence. So my first start on that was using it at meetings, using the hashtags, promoting talks by friends, talks that I was in parts of, sessions I was in part of, and also promoting the work. And so with SWORD, the journal that we use, we promote visual abstracts and things like that, which is again promoted by other members and other folks that are using that. It's real-time educational vehicle. You can get your message out there. You can influence others, but I think what you've seen before, the influencing on social media by doctors isn't really out there. It sounds like there's more social media influencing by people telling you about a mental gastric sleeve, I guess. Wow. And I think you have this unlimited ability to follow anyone. So you can, whatever interest is there. I don't think it's weird to follow somebody you don't know on Twitter. That's kind of odd in Facebook. It's sort of a stalking thing, I think. So finding your voice out there. It isn't really that time consuming because Twitter can be quick. Although if you are using it primarily, you might be on it longer than you think because you get down rabbit holes, if you will, if you're not careful. And it can be performed throughout the day, even in a busy day. And some of the Twitter statistics specifically, right now, it is really the most popular looking at site for news. So from a medical professional standpoint, while we're promoting a lot of articles that are coming out every month, we're putting forward the messages of the journal. That's an easy way for, the societies to promote their messages. And Twitter falls into the 16th most active social media platform. So again, kind of dropping down from the others. So here's some pictures of how we used Twitter and what it would look like. So this was when I took this image. This was 12 hours after we had initially posted this tweet and its visual abstract on obesity in America and people's impressions. So 20,000 impressions within 12 hours. And again, that's when SWORD was not. We didn't even really have that many followers. And if you follow Twitter at all, if any of you are on it, you probably know Neil Flock as far as a bariatric surgeon that has a lot of followers on Twitter. That's when we really started getting a larger number. But again, that message went out there. And this is Neil. He shared this with me. This was how he showed how you can influence with social media. So he did this poll: do you believe that surgery can cure diabetes? So probably a loaded question, and we actually had this conversation, Philippe and I, last night about just curing, right? You got to be careful about what you use, but 64% of people didn't believe you could cure it, and I think he uses it in a follow-up a little bit differently. But from that, he then posted this, which was 10-year follow-up after gastric surgery, and he showed that the rate of remission was 53%. So once he did that, he did the poll again, and the next poll showed that there was an increase in awareness and people's understanding and belief. So you can influence individuals on these platforms. So just kind of remember how that goes. So the awareness went from 36% to 51%. Now, I don't think that this is being used as much, but there's still the chat features. Again, each of these platforms, that's the other thing too, is you've kind of got to stay on top of it because they change what they do. But there was the Twitter chat on obesity, surgery, and Heather Logie and Argo Gonzalez kind of ran this from the beginning and had a chance to actually get on social media and and talk to patients as well as other doctors and talk about that. Now, LinkedIn. Well, I think LinkedIn, again, it's a less clinical tool. It's definitely more for professional work and work networking. I definitely get more asks on my LinkedIn profile from people who want to help me with marketing and things like that. And some other colleagues might but jump on, but it's not something that we use very often. Again, it's an unlimited ability to follow anyone, but it might be a little odd to be following someone that you don't at least have some personal relationship with. It doesn't really take a lot of time, but again, I think it's not used quite as much. And statistics, you'll look at this, they really don't show that a lot of people are using LinkedIn as much, and certainly the age group is in the older age group. Actually, and I'll show you a correlation here in just a moment on social media platform and the audience overlap. So first of all, if you look at this first column, essentially no one is a unique user to any platform. They all are using other platforms. And if you're on Twitter, most people, the highest crossover is on Instagram. So if you're on Twitter, you're probably on Instagram. And if you're using LinkedIn, then you're probably most likely using Facebook. So I think from an age group, you see kind of how that goes. Certainly the TikTok group, they're kind of all across the board. But see, only, interestingly enough, I think it's a younger group, only 37% are cross using Snapchat, but maybe because they go from one to the other versus that. And then the main reason for using social media really is keeping in touch with friends and family and finding spare time, and news. News is up there. So I think that's our place. That's where we can try to put in our real news and try to get rid of the fake news that's out there. And then again, just different reasons why people of different age groups are using social media. But again, the primary one is out there with friends and family. And then favorite social media platforms, again, WhatsApp, as I said, it's up there. I use it all the time. In fact, that's how I was communicating a few minutes ago to know that I was going third. So WhatsApp's great. So anyway, that's my talk, and I know we have a panel. Happy to answer questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you very much. Okay, now, Pablo, your turn. He will talk about Instagram and Facebook, how to make it more efficient.
Hello, how you doing? Thanks you for the invitation. I'm really proud for this opportunity, at least as talking about social media. And it looks like I'm better in social media than in surgery, but it doesn't matter. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about these two main social medias apps that are related to our business, our practice. Doesn't have any conflicts, any disclosure, but I do like a weird thing. I study also. I have an MBA in International Business and General Management postgrad. So I want to give you like a dual vision, like a doctor and like a business view. So I want to ask you, is any influencer here? Anyone? I think that we have to define what is an influence. First of all, you have family, you have friends, you have peers, you have colleagues that you are influencing with every action that you are taking. But when we talk about influencer in social media, is who active engage the audience, I mean your patients, to impact their opinion, behavior, or decision. So you can change this, you can influence in every decision that they take. And let's talk about a few facts. For example, in this year, it's estimated like 4.9 billion of users of any social media. 2027, we're gonna be like maybe 5.8. Most of the presidents in the United States has like 7 social medias, spend every day like 145 minutes. If you have to engage, you have to do more videos, and half of millennials trust in influencers' recommendation. This is really important because if you want or not, the social media is necessary and it's going to be part of you. This time, Facebook is the most used, even with the loss of the younger public. And the next one is YouTube and Instagram. So let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. What is the advantage of the Facebook? Is the reach. It get all the social ages. I mean, between 18 to 65 age. You can upload diverse content about, for example, text, message, videos. You can share links and everything. You can have groups for you. You can concentrate your patients in the app, and you can also invest in inversion. And when you see the social media, whatever you're paying, maybe in a magazine for promote you, if you are trying to invest in the or making marketing or publicity, the best way always will be the social media because the ROI is better. So you can do organize events and everything, and market is a huge marketplace. The disadvantage is that the younger person every time is less using this social media. Is a very hard interface. It's not the basic that you normally use. You can get a lot of other applications. You can get and other things that normally you are not using. The problem of the privacy, you know that is very frequently that all social medias have issues with sharing the personal information and the negative content, and all the time, once you discover how you can get the possibility to get increase of your followers and the social network, and once it's get better, immediately they change the way. So all the time there are changes. The advantage of Instagram is the visual focus and the engagement are the biggest part. When I mean the visual, that's why it's really important to do pictures, videos with high quality. You can target your audience. The creativity is the main thing that you can get it, and you can make like joint ventures with other influencers. And the disadvantage is that it's limited to share the privacy again. The problem with the image that sometimes you get some pressure with that. Also, they are all the time changing the rules, and the information that you try to do a quality content, and you will see that most of the people just take a view of the pictures and don't take care about the things. If you want to become a medical influencer, the first step to establish is define the niche. I mean, of course, that you have your patient, what kind of person you are focused. For example, if I'm in Latin America, the Caribbean, I don't do anything, try to promote or giving information per person in Chile, for example, or in Australia. I have to be aware about it. Optimize your social media profile, do your best, the quality, the information, and always have a value content. You have to target the age that you want to give you the message. For example, if you want to talk to other people, don't do by TikTok or by Instagram. Go to Facebook and that kind of examples. Be creative, relevant value content. Don't put everything, but you can use it. Really value content, even with you using memes or I don't know how to say English is the same, by jokes and everything. But always the content has to be really value, and you have to be consistent is in every social media. I mean, that's what that gives you credibility, and always be authentic. For example, I have a friend here that tell me try to be really serious in this conference because I always making jokes and everything. But I think that the most important is to be yourself and don't be acting in the social media. If we're talking about what specifically to improve the quality of content, that does involve the consistency every day or however you define. It's not that the patient expect you to publish something and you forget it this week to do anything. So be consistent. The engagement is that's directly a relationship with your patient. Actually, if you are to doing a question, if you want to inform, you have to answer. It's not that you only publish and do whatever that the patient get in the air with that. Be the visual, be high quality, the live videos, and the groups advertising are the best part for the Facebook. And in Instagram, the consistent aesthetics, the hashtag, the caption, I mean the message. You can use the story and reels, that really short videos. And for inform, I'm sure I'll have a good moment. You can share your user way. You can share what they are sending to you, and for example, engage with other peers. I mean, the colleagues. If I see something interesting, even if it's another bariatric surgeon that published, I just share it in my web. That's how it's important to collaborate. There is something that sometimes we doesn't see. Is the bad part if you decide to be a medical influence. I mean, it's the legal risk about the patient information, the liability, the misinterpretation. So you try to give you a message, and the other that read it interprets as they want. The emotional part, the burnout that is overwhelming to do this every day, the criticism and harassment, even with your colleagues. For example, my older friends in Dominican Republic always make jokes about the way that I manage the social part. Of course, the ethical dilemmas that Luciano will talk forward, and you have to be actualized to give you the best information, and the emotional connection with followers, the behind the scenes messages. I mean, that's filter bubbles, and the impact of professional reputation, because if you are talking about social media, most of the doctors think that you are wrong, and manage the time and the mental health. Finally, there is some prizes. For example, if you see, when you are open to the social media, you will receive like good reviews when they decided to go to you, and it's not the same if you are being like a private surgeon or an institutional surgeon. For example, in private that doesn't have coverage, we have, for example, this prize. And also, I want to be more influential. I wrote this book, and that's it. Thank you very much. Gracias mille.
Thank you. We call to Guillermo Alvarez from Mexico, please. YouTube versus TikTok analysis and key aspects you use in our practice.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the committee and Dr. Pedro Martinez. Thank you for the invitation. But I also want to congratulate IFSO on the being more open-minded on topics that you're seeing today, topics that you wouldn't see previous years in conferences like these. And I want to start with, I got this topic that is very interesting, is very updated, it's very, I've used in the past, I've used Pinterest, I've used Dr. Peterson, I've used Twitter in the past. I started using some platforms, but I'm a sucker for the greatest and the newest and the latest, all right? So, this is what's going on. So first we want to start off by understanding what each of these platforms mean, and if
has a fit in your practice. It doesn't have to be. It's very important to understand that we have all these social medias that you've seen and listed here. You don't have to be on each one of them. But the ones that you decide to be on, you got to be active. As Dr. Peterson said, I mean, if you're there, you got to go in and see if somebody mentioned you, if somebody, as Dr. Pablo said, I mean, you got to be active on them, okay? I have no potential conflict of interest on this topic. So what does all this mean? And I want to start by just giving you just a few statistics that are important to understand the context of what currently is happening on YouTube, what currently is happening on TikTok. And from there, we'll try to see if there's a part in your practice that you might be interested in. You might say, but doctor, give me a second, I'm not really good on camera, I really don't want to be on camera. I mean, I'm sorry, it's 2023. You got to be comfortable on camera. If you're not comfortable on camera, learn. You got to learn and just press record and do it again. You won't be able to do it good on the first try, believe me, nor on the second, but probably down the road, you'll get better at it, okay? So YouTube has 2.5 billion users worldwide, which is of your interest because this is worldwide. And in the United States, 82 of these users are, from the adults, are on YouTube. And this is probably very important to your practice. YouTube is the second most popular search engine in the world after Google. But, there's a big but, it is owned by the first search engine, which is Google. Google owns YouTube, all right? So if you search something on YouTube, it'll throw you a few videos there that it found on YouTube. It'll redirect you to YouTube. So it's very important for your practice. Also very important, this YouTube, this app is in more than 100 countries and it's available in more than 80 languages. So if you do a video, like on Instagram, it has a little tab right there that says see translation, and it'll translate. Now, if you go on to YouTube and it's in a different language, you have the automatically closed caption in your own language. So it's very important for viewers. And 62% of businesses on YouTube use as posting for their businesses. Maybe you should think about this too. So this is very, very common. 63% of YouTube watch on their phone. If you've seen your marketing strategy, if you've seen how your website performs, if you've seen how people are viewing you and your business, and they're viewing you on their phone mainly, all right? So it's very important to be adapting to this. Now 90%, and I'm included in this, 90% of the US digital video viewers on YouTube, this is the most popular for video consumption, this channel. So this beats Netflix, this beats Disney Plus, this beats HBO, and so on. YouTube is the most commonly seen video platform. Let's talk a little bit about TikTok, which is the competitor here. And TikTok is, we see videos viewed over 1 billion times daily. It has over 1 billion monthly users. And this is what's amazing. I mean, TikTok is pretty much new, and it has been downloaded 3.5 billion times. And it is the most, currently, it is the most engaging platform with an engagement rate of 5.9. That is like a lot. The average user spends 10.8 minutes on TikTok. If you don't believe me, just open your TikTok app and you'll fall down that long rabbit hole. And 37% of users, check this out, 37% of users have discovered something on TikTok and went immediately to buy. Now, as we mentioned before, 70% of the US, TikTok has a much younger audience are in their teens. And TikTok was the top non-gaming app worldwide in 2022. And I'll give you an extra important data here. TikTok was the most downloaded app in 2022, all around. So it's huge. And I won't bore you here with this this table right here. And it's just, I just want to, it is pretty cool. This works really nice. I just want to bring out a few important points here. YouTube, of course, is way older than TikTok. And we've talked about this, the main audience. We have a broad group here on YouTube, mainly younger audience on TikTok. And this is very important. I've got this question before is, I want to know about monetization, you know. We're not here to monetize on these platforms. That's very important for you to understand. We don't get rich or you don't make money out of doing this, especially as you saw already with Dr. Manuel Garcia talking about us being influencers. We get a very small audience. Bariatric surgery on social media has a very, very small niche, all right? So, but it is important to speak out, okay? So you won't get millions and millions of views on this. And video editing features, it is very basic on YouTube. So if you decide to jump on YouTube, you will most certainly need a video editing platform on a computer, but you don't need this on TikTok. TikTok has a broad range of features and sounds and editing things you can do, and we use TikTok completely and edit everything on TikTok directly, but we don't do that on YouTube. So why is all this important now in IFSO in 2023? Well, all this depends on your marketing strategy. And I don't want to stay too long here because we can spend a complete hour talking about this. Do you have one? And if you don't, I would strongly suggest you look into this. And depending on that, we need to know about our goals. What are our goals on social media? Do you know who your persona is? Do you know what a persona actually is? In the marketing world, a persona is someone you invent, someone that is your ideal client. Is it a male? Is it a female? Are they 40? Are they 50 years of age? Where do they live? How much income do they make? You need to figure out who this persona is for your business. In our business, we actually gave her a name. Her name is Maggie. She's 52 years old. She has 2 kids, Brian and Kevin. We know all this. We made this up because that is our ideal client or ideal target toward who we make all this content on bariatric surgery. So knowing this, we create the content on TikTok and we create the content on YouTube that you see right there directly, not for you, we make it directly for Maggie. We know what time Maggie wakes up. We know how much she makes a year. We know what she does on her leisure time. And all this content is for Maggie. But we also have Maria. And Maria lives in the northern part of Mexico because we are on the border with the United States. And Maria, we make some content also for Maria. So we have a YouTube channel in Spanish. So this is a marketing funnel. It is important for you to understand where these stand. You know who this guy is. So TikTok stands for attention. And be very cautious before uploading on TikTok because a little sound, a little trend may be very offensive and they'll bring your account down. And of course, YouTube stands for authority, which stands in the middle of the funnel. Conclusion, do you need this? You need to know your strategies, you need to know your goals, and you can definitely get a lot of these 2 platforms. And I'll leave you with this probably this is the most important slide. Every time that you think of uploading, of creating a content, a post, please upload with this in mind. It has to fall in one of these 4 categories to be useful. Thank you so much for your attention. If you need any help with anything, I could be more than happy to help. That's my contact information.
Thank you, Guillermo. So we can upload everything. So we asked to Dr. Luciano Poggi. Luciano, he will talking about ethics in social media, which advertising can currently be considered adequate.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and I feel kind of old because I'm going to talk about ethics, and this is going to be more like a philosophical talk. Can you put the slides, please? So I ended up being a member of the National Committee of Ethics of my country, and this is a big, big duty, and it's a really one of the most difficult endeavors that I ever had, because trying to guide other doctors in what's right or what's wrong is not that easy, right? We all feel like medicine, and as doctors, we're always aiming to do our best. So, it's not working. Reputation is an idle and most false imposition of God without merit and loss without deserving. So watch out what you're doing. So we're looking for what's right, what's wrong, and an ethics committee is not to punish people. I'm not here to telling you, hey, you're wrong, go home. I'm here to help you, to guide you from my really humble perspective, because I don't think I have the definite answer of how we should behave in social media. But I'm going to remember you that you had an oath, a Hippocratic oath. So benefit of the sick. Don't overtreat. Don't do any futile therapies. Know when you don't know. My mentors used to say, it's okay if you are wrong, but you're not allowed to doubt. So you need to know when you don't know. Privacy of your patients, respect your patients. In our 4 principles, autonomy, act for the best interest of the patients, inform your patients, recognize your limits, and be fair with your patients. All right, here we go. So there are several social media guidelines. Basically, what they all say is that a surgeon, a doctor should behave in the same way inside or outside of the social media. So that's a very thin line, again, to know exactly where to go. So marketing was forbidden in the USA, at least from starting in 1975. It was actually allowed. And some physicians and non-physicians stated that, hey, maybe if doctors can do some marketing advertising, maybe we can we have a better and cheaper healthcare. Well, nothing more wrong than that, actually. Physician advertising has neither augmented the quality or diminished the cost of healthcare. So what are we doing? Advertisement has eroded medical professionalism by denying doctors the right to enforce ethical boundaries between themselves and let the buyer beware. So there's, again, a thin line. Until today, 2023, I refuse to call my patients clients, but I understand what we are saying, and that's okay. So again, the doctor-patient relationship is the cornerstone of medicine. So it's in danger as physicians continue to cast for the self-interest lure of advertisement. So be careful. Why are you advertising? Why are you in social media? That's the question you need to ask yourself or answer to yourself. The only group that has always embraced how the market works were popularizers, alternative healers, and quacks. And we all see it every single day. We were listening to Dr. Garcia showing us some videos and pictures from actually non-medical specialists talking about surgeries, giving recommendations. Medicine has in the past been regarded as the epitome of professions. Professional behavior is internally anchored by enforced ethical principles. One individual in society who is not trying to sell you anything. We are trying to sell something pretty much always, but we are not trying to sell anything to our patients. Our patients are sick, they have a disease, they need our help. Do you trust a salesman? Somebody trusts a salesman here? Okay. So, here we go. Advertisement might compromise the trust in our patients. Advertisement can manipulate the choice of our patients. So it might actually aim to entice rather to inform. Why are we in social media? The Peruvian Ethic Code changed in 2023. Actually, I had nothing to do with this, but we had 3 articles, and now we have 5. And some of these articles basically say that we are not allowed to say anything that is not true. We're not allowed to say anything that is not scientifically proven. We're not allowed to post anything that would create false expectations. On top of that, the patient should not use, the surgeon or the doctor should not use the patient testimony. The patient can post whatever they want. They can tag you. You can use that as well. That's fine. The patient should not promote or post anything regarding that would involve cost, any type of event, or any special sales. And these important things to be say, because we really don't talk about this. We don't want to mess with anybody. So what's inappropriate? Basically, any ad that is trying to sell you something, and you need to be ready to recognize it whenever you do it. And actually, hey, this post doesn't look right. You can ask a colleague, you can ask a friend. It's like, do you think this is fine? And we were just talking about this. Sometimes we don't know, and that's fine. Any ad that will expose the patient's privacy, even if the patient tells you, hey, you can post whatever you want, doctor. It's like, you should think twice. Don't create unrealistic expectations. We talked before about before and after pictures, for example, in obesity. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Don't expose human anatomy. Why are we having so many pictures with gastric sleeve specimens? Why? I don't get it. So again, do you trust a salesman? The answer is no, right? So anything that looks like this is not a good way to do marketing or advertising or anything. So I'm going to show you some examples. This is not to get point at any doctor. This is not to say, oh, these doctors are really wrong, they're really bad. No, we are still learning on this, and nobody really talks about how do we need to behave. So, this doctor is close to you again. This doctor has this protocol, God knows what it is. This doctor has zero mortality. How can we verify that, God's sake? Price starts on $14,000, and it depends on availability of these sales, or it depends on your BMI. And actually, the small letters say, if your BMI is above 35, you will not get the discount. How does that sound? You can buy probably a car cheaper and safer, maybe. Again, same thing. Is this program of your surgery only this month? You can get this all-included price. This is not medicine. This is salesman. Get the discount for Christmas. And the same doctor, whenever the year starts, get the discount for the beginning of the year. I think the ad on the right even looks better. What are we doing? Mother's Day sales event. Yes, and before and after. What are we doing? What about this one? It's like, lose up to 100% of your excess weight. And even way more worrisome, this one. Questionable certification. One is actually a course that is, I know is pretty good, but it's a stapler brand that actually promotes this course. And the other one is a certification by an association that doesn't even exist. Before and after, what's wrong with before and after? That we are not showing the right thing, or the reason why we're operating on people, right? Why are we doing surgery? Because of metabolic problems. We're actually even thinking about changing the name to bariatric to metabolic. So it should not only be your only way of communication. If you post time to time a picture of this, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And the patient, again, can make a testimony. In Peru, this is forbidden now. So again, these pictures are not recommended. Before these pictures, usually when we see before and after is usually when aesthetic is involved. So this is usually plastic surgery or maybe tumors, God knows, but this is not obesity, right? Are we creating more stigma even? It's like, even if you put like, my patient lost 30, you're gonna have another surgeon that is gonna say, my patient lost 40 kilos. When this is gonna start? What about life surgeries? On IFSO 2019, they published a paper, or presented a paper with actually an unbelievable high rate of complications with life surgeries during medical events. What about these surgeons that are doing life surgeries on TikTok or YouTube? What is this? This is a great song, by the way, but this is probably not the way to practice medicine, right? I don't know if somebody disagrees with this. This is a life surgery there with good music. And this is going to set a precedent. And this is going to be, I think everybody's going to be talking about this. An Ohio plastic surgeon just lost her license. The board said in its notification to her that she was not allowed to continue, that she was harmed to the public. She said the social media videos because she loved teaching and wanted to explain cosmetic surgery to people outside of the medical field. But when did she lose her track? And this is the saddest part. But as I stand here, this is what she said, I see how many of those videos appear silly and unprofessional. She still lost her license. She can practice plastic surgery. What about these questionable situations? Doctors dancing with corona patients, GI doctors dancing during a meeting. I'm pretty sure surgeons can dance much better than these GI doctors. I don't know if we should do a TikTok after. I think these GI doctors are fine, right? But Again, you need to think about what are we doing with our social media. What about this one? Making fun that we're not paying even attention to the patients, right? This nurse has like millions of followers in TikTok.
We are on time.
Okay, 30 more seconds. Giveaways, it's a big no. What about this that I don't even know how to call? A doctor talking with a cat filter. Have no idea how to call this. This digital footprint, this will never be erased, right? What is going on? Okay, so this is wrong. I don't know. In social, personal life, try not to share it, avoid it. What is the profile of this surgeon? Usually young surgeons with or without bariatric surgery fellowship in surgeries in low capacity of complication resolution. Almost 100% are for gastric sleeve. We are in a very difficult situation in developing countries. Obesity is not covered by insurance, so this put us in a really bad spot. So again, we all want to prosper, but at what cost? Our recommendations is read the ethic code of your country. You need to stay focused. What are you doing? If you have doubt, talk with somebody that might know better than you. It's a good time to think about this. On top of that, last thoughts, lack of professionalism and poor judgment can put you in trouble. It is the responsibility of the boards to really figure out what to do. Again, a good opportunity. Last slide. Future directions. We need to talk more about this. We need to have guidelines. I think IFSO LAC or IFSO Worldwide should have the opportunity to probably help us or guide us. Thank you.
Thank you, Luciano. Let's move on with Mariano Palermo, who will talk about digital technology applied to change the habit of bariatric patients. Thank you, Mariano.
Thank you, Pedro, Pauline, and Luis. I will promise you, Pedro, that I will leave an extra minutes for you. So I'm going to talk about an application that we are developing. I have nothing to disclose. As we all know, obesity is increasing all over the world, and it will be increasing more and more with all the effects of the overweight and obesity that we practically know. When we talk about treatments and options of treatment, we have a diet, sports, lifestyle changes, pharmacotherapy, and also surgery, balloons, and endoscopic treatments. Talking about surgery, we know that laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy is still the most common primary bariatric procedure performed worldwide, and this is the efficacy of the different loose weight methods. But common channel in all these procedures is that all the patients with obesity and overweight have to be very, very focused on diet, sports, and lifestyle changes. So we can offer surgery, we can offer balloons, but the most common and most important thing is to get inside the brain of the patient and try to be focused on there. Because when we operate the patient, when we do whatever we do, patient can make mistakes, and of course doctors and not the whole team cannot be 24/7 for them, and that's why we think the application we are developing can be very, very useful for them. So with this application, the idea is that the patient finally change the eating habits, and the idea is to guide them with the decisions. The idea is to take the decision before starting or before deciding on what are they gonna eat. The application, how can we help our patient? This is the application. In Spanish is QCH. In English is what do we eat today? That I think is the most common question we and all our family are performing every day, and not only once. And the idea is that with one question we have to answer if it's healthy, if do we like the food, how much is it gonna cost, what did I eat yesterday, can I borrow any receipt, and some patients didn't forget what the nutritionist told. So the idea is to help the patient establishing and according to each profile of the patient, ordering the food with a food planner. And of course, I'm going to show you a video, but the idea is that not only for the food planner, but also saving time, money, and avoid wasting food. These patients in the application have push notifications, so that's why we can be 24/7 for the patients, motivating them and trying them to help to continue and go on with the weight loss process. This is the application we are developing. This is the name in Spanish. Now it's available in Spanish. And it's all, the idea is to make the patients to change habit very, very simple, to organize not only the patient, but only the family meals. And of course, in the application, we can have receipts for the meals that can be shared in the application. And not only the meals, every patient can have, or any dietitian can have their own plans and put it inside the application. You can also take your control of the nutritional issues of the meal, but you can count the calories and all these things. And nutritionists can also import in the patient's profile the plans, for example, for 1 week, for 1 month. And I think this is very useful for the patients. And of course, in the app, we have the market stuff with an inventory, so we are going to charge in the application what we have in our house. And when we go to the supermarket, the idea is to avoid overbuying and to avoid food wasting, because when we go to the supermarket, it's crucial, because if we go to the supermarket hungry, we are going to do wrong things. Before coming to the Congress, we did a survey and 20 bariatric surgeons answered the questions. The question was sent via WhatsApp. We sent a link tree, the application. They download the application, and then they answered the 4 questions. That how likely would you recommend the application? 90% was very likely and likely. How satisfied with the utility of the application? 95% very satisfied and satisfied. And how easy was to use it. I want to focus here in the 10% that was difficult to use. We know that it's not an easy application. We are trying to do it more intuitive. This is the first MVP, and a lot of people said that was easy and very easy, but we still know that we have to improve this application. And finally, which were the most useful things inside the application: food and receipt options menu, the menu of the nutritionist, and the quantifier of the nutritional stuff. We have a very ambitious roadmap and business plan for the future, including IA, and not only the application, but also all the group is surrounding the application, because we know that all the patients has to be surrounded with a very strong multidisciplinary group. The application is totally free. If you can download it, it's in Google Play and App Store. It's totally 100% free, and it will be great, your feedback, to continue improving it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariano. Okay, the last presentation, Dr. Caetano, where are you?
He's right there.
All right, surgery is the future. Robotics, ChatGPT, others. Please. All right.
So, thank you guys for the invitation. I'd like to thank my friends from Latin America, Pedro in special, who had his personal invitation, and the organizing committee for this kind invitation. Well, here are my conflicts of interest. And the first thing is define time when you talk about future. And we know that physicists, they define time as a succession of the past events that unfold into the present and emerge towards the future. But in contrast, the medical community seek the future for answers from questions of the present and the past. Leroy Edward Hood is an 82-year-old biologist. He has received tons of premiums for prizes he's the author of a lot of projects, but the most important of them is the genomic. And the other one that's very important is this project, the approach of the medicine of the 4 Ps. That is predict, prevent, personalize, and participate. This approach emphasizes the ability to predict disease risk based on genetic information, as well as the importance of preventive measures to avoid health issues. And this customization of medical care tailored to individual characteristics is central principle of this philosophy. So let's go to what's happening now. Well, now we have a lot of questions, countless questions, as how can I enhance my surgical skills, or how can I enhance my treatment? Will we need that new techniques? How can we predict metabolic responses to our patients? Could endoscopy replace surgery? This is something getting our surgeons to think about. Will surgeons be obsolete? Will surgery be obsolete in the future? Well, when you put technology to improve our techniques, now we well know this is virtual reality. Who trains in robotics know this is the first step to get there. But it's not only about this. Here's another example of a completed computer-generated environment where the user wears glasses, headset, and gloves to immerse in an environment and simulate the surgical procedure. This is a training of robotics for orthopedics from Medtronic. This is very interesting. And I believe the training of our students in the future, and even surgeons that do not have contact with high technology, will be doing this and learning through this. Another thing is augmented reality. Augmented reality is a technology that overlays computer-generated images into the real world, creating a composite view by projecting this image into the environment. Apart from nowadays, there are the implications and the applications of it. It's just in education. In the near future, and I've seen this in other presentations, angiotomographic images will be projected onto our resection surgeries, providing us better localization and avoiding unexpected accidents. I don't know if you guys seen this before. This is Proximi. Proximi is a platform. It was originally from a British company and recently acquired from Johnson & Johnson. And through this platform, a remote surgeon, supervisor, proctor, has access to the surgery through the images and can project his hand on the screen and provide detailed instructions to the surgeon and make the surgery safer and more effective. Well, one of the major challenges in training today in any field is defining the performance of the individual carrying out the procedure. And presently we use parameters that don't really are accurate, as time of surgery, duration of surgery, postoperative results, and complication rates. These are blunt metrics. Currently, there are numerous scales to measure surgeon performance. I'm not going to talk of each one, but you can have an idea that the control in the future of what we do, it will be much more metric and precise. Another significant challenge we face in any obesity treatment is the patient follow-up. Well, we've seen some apps here, and it's important to tell the patient that follow-up is important. But we need the patient to participate so we can have better results. And there are countless now applications. You saw some friends here showing some applications. There are many more coming. But it's not only applications. Technology doesn't stop there. There are numerous sensors that upon contact, these are wireless technology, that in contact with our body can transmit valuable information to enhance their treatment. So, health is valuable to us, but, sorry, it stopped here for me. Another thing about, oops, let me tell here. This is very interesting. I would like to talk about this. There's nowadays being developed a nanotechnology tattoo that you put in chronic patients that it can change color when the patient has fever. This is another thing very interesting I've been seeing. So, as I said, health is valuable to us and quite costly to the state. And one way to control this issue is controlling through prediction and prevention. The Human Genome Project cost nearly $3 billion. And nowadays, it can be done for as little as $300. Any person can do it. And this will revolutionize our medicine. Currently, there's a biochip that is under development and already being tested in humans. And after implanted, it will transmit real-time lab tests and data from our genome to our mobile phone, and health insurers will monitor your care in relation to your health. This will not only enhance your treatment, but also enable prediction of future issues. So why is this important? Well, just to know, only diabetes, less than 30% or even minus than that, like 12% some studies say, do their real control of their blood glucose levels. And this generates a devastating financial impact on the healthcare system, both public and private. It's not a small project, and big players are involved, like Samsung, Merck, Sorrento, and Rosetta Genomics. They will be able to get chips, DNA chips, protein chips, enzyme chips, and lab tests to transmit real time to these control areas where they will have. Eric Topol is an American cardiologist, science, and the author of several books. Topol asserts that genomics, along with digital medicine and artificial intelligence, will have significant impact in the future of our patients, creating an idea of a big brother of health. Meanwhile, what's happening is that we have robotics being developed for specific areas, something they learned. Why do we want the whole area if we can go for specific areas? This is one made just to do hernias. Or this one, created for gynecology. This already exists and is on test. Many wonder why there's such significant investment in robotic surgery. One of the reasons is that still today, 50% of surgeries are performed worldwide are open surgeries and have a high rate of complications. So the idea is to create a large database to gather highest information, and with that data, artificial intelligence will study the algorithms created by surgeons and give machines the ability to reason and perform our functions. This machine learning capacity and the computer's ability to perceive will enhance procedures through the analysis of this data, enabling them to perform with much greater efficiency, precision, speed, and lower complication rates. Robotic surgery simplifies the capture of information. Let's remember that human-to-human teaching is often a laborious process and cannot accurately reproduce what's being taught. This is a publication from the University of Oxford and Yale from 2018 that shows that the time will take for professions to become obsolete in the future. Surgeons are likely to become obsolete in 40 years. And it also indicates that the process might appear even faster in Asia. In January 2022, the first robotic enteroanastomosis fully performed on animals were made by a robot.
We are on time.
Yep, I heard that. I'm not here, I'm not going to tell you what ChatGPT does. I recommend that everyone puts it on your mobile phone and test it. But it will have a huge impact on what we do in the next 5 years. Finally, the communication interfaces between computers and our brain. Neuralink is a platform that implants electrodes in specific areas of interest in the brain and connects these electrodes to a Wi-Fi controller that communicates with the other terminals, whether it's a computer or other areas of simulation. The application here is limitless. You should go after this and take a look what these guys are doing. And finally, the stentrode. Stentrode is a sensor. It's a stent with a lot of sensor that is implanted in the brain and is incorporated and communicates with commands. Nowadays, it's already been used in patients to communicate with computers, patients that are not capable to write down on computers. So they send their thoughts to the computer, and the computer writes messages, commands, applications, and does. This company was just bought for another big giant that I'm not remember the name now. So what we think maybe not in a far future for much young surgeons here, probably disease will fade out in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we probably only have like a few minutes before the North American chapter comes in and runs us out of here because they're starting in this room. I think maybe the key question, I think the majority were listening to Scott's presidential address, is that when we started metabolic bariatric surgery, we were, I think, Scott, and quoting him, saying under dermatologist. And with social media, we can actually, that's a friend or a foe. We may end up shooting ourselves in the foot by using it in the wrong way. And on the contrary, as we know that access to treatment is like 1 or 2%, we should actually use that for good educational purposes. So maybe for our discussants, any brilliant ideas how we can do it or how IFSO can help this, because I think this is a major issue. And again, thanks for the excellent talks. I learned so much today. I think they were all very great. Go ahead.
I want to add that, well,
I'm just making notes for IFSO, so with your brilliant ideas. So.
yeah. I want to add that, well, very good speakers. I think you guys, you broke the algorithm. Some of you have 100,000 followers. Congratulations. But let me tell you that there are some medical students that have more followers than you. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, it's a trend, okay? I can tell you that in a recent published paper, over 1/3 of videos on YouTube about diabetes have misleading information. And those videos have much more likes and shares than the one with useful information. Social media is a very useful tool, but it had setbacks, it had drawbacks. And during pandemic, the phrase fake news was popularized. The good thing is that there were some states in the US that were authorized to take those license, and as Richard said, well, on some doctors that brought some misleading information. If we want to advertise, we have to educate our potential patients. As what you said, Guillermo, on the lead funnel, those are the prospects. What are we going to do to take into the OR with good information, quality information? Okay.
Excellent session. I think that technology is evolving very, very fast. And social media, it's not only an excellent educational tool, but a great instrument for follow-up our patients. And I think that it is important that it could allow us to put IFSO and other scientific societies in the public eye as the best way to ask right information, the correct information. But social media also has some pitfalls, and those are that a great influencer is not always a great surgeon, for example. And the other thing that I must say is that we have to establish some ethical boundaries in marketing, for example, in social media. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we don't have any time because the North Americans are going to chase us out of here. But I think, thank you very much. And I think this, what you started with, we need to really engage IFSO and the society in this topic because this is of major importance in the future. Thank you very much for all the speakers and the audience.